maintaining a respectful and inclusive online discussion forum is of utmost importance. It's essential to establish clear boundaries regarding acceptable conduct to ensure a positive and productive environment for all participants. One crucial aspect of moderation is addressing inappropriate content. While expressing concerns or even strong disagreement is generally permissible, engaging in personal attacks or discriminatory remarks is strictly prohibited. This includes ranting against individuals or groups based on characteristics such as race, creed, gender, or any other protected category. Such behavior creates a hostile atmosphere and undermines the principles of inclusivity and respect. It's important to recognize that the impact of harmful speech transcends the specific context in which it occurs. Derogatory comments or discriminatory language can have far-reaching consequences, both for the individuals targeted and for the broader community. Therefore, it's necessary to adopt a zero-tolerance policy towards any form of hate speech or prejudice. To effectively enforce these standards, clear guidelines should be established and consistently applied. These guidelines should outline the types of behavior that are considered unacceptable, as well as the consequences for violating the rules. It's also important to provide users with a mechanism for reporting inappropriate content, allowing moderators to promptly address any violations. In addition to enforcing rules, it's equally important to foster a culture of empathy and understanding within the online community. Encouraging users to engage in respectful dialogue, even when they hold differing viewpoints, can help bridge divides and promote constructive communication. Providing opportunities for users to learn about and appreciate diverse perspectives can also contribute to a more inclusive environment. Moderation plays a critical role in maintaining a respectful and inclusive online space. Effective moderation requires a combination of proactive measures, such as establishing clearer guidelines and fostering a positive community culture, as well as reactive measures, such as addressing inappropriate content and enforcing the rules. By consistently upholding these principles, it is possible to create an online environment where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued. Consider the technical aspects of building and maintaining such a community. Firstly, a robust reporting system must be implemented. This system should allow users to easily flag content that violates community guidelines. The reporting mechanism should be readily accessible and intuitive to use. Secondly, a well-defined moderation workflow is essential. This workflow should outline the steps involved in reviewing reported content, assessing its compliance with the guidelines, and taking appropriate action. The workflow should ensure that all reports are handled promptly and consistently. Thirdly, a comprehensive set of community guidelines should be developed and clearly communicated to all users. These guidelines should specify the types of behavior that are prohibited, as well as the consequences for violating the rules. The guidelines should be written in clear, concise language and be easily accessible. Fourthly, a team of trained moderators is necessary. These moderators should be responsible for reviewing reported content, enforcing the community guidelines, and fostering a positive community culture. Moderators should be impartial, objective, and equipped with the skills to handle sensitive situations. Fifthly, automated moderation tools can be used to supplement human moderation efforts. These tools can help identify and flag potentially inappropriate content, such as hate speech or spam. However, it's important to note that automated tools are not a substitute for human judgment and should be used with caution. Sixthly, regular evaluation and refinement of the moderation process is crucial. This involves monitoring the effectiveness of the current system, identifying areas for improvement, and implementing changes as needed. The moderation process should be continuously adapted to meet the evolving needs of the community. Seventhly, a clear appeals process should be established. This allows users who believe they have been unfairly penalized to appeal the decision. The appeals process should be transparent and impartial. Eighthly, community feedback should be actively solicited. This can be done through surveys, forums, or other channels. User feedback can provide valuable insights into the effectiveness of the moderation process and help identify areas for improvement. Ninthly, transparency in moderation decisions is important. While it may not always be possible to provide detailed explanations for every decision, users should be given a general understanding of the reasoning behind moderation actions. This can help build trust and understanding within the community. Tenthly, ongoing training for moderators is essential. This training should cover topics such as community guidelines, conflict resolution, and cultural sensitivity. Regular training helps ensure that moderators are equipped with the skills and knowledge they need to effectively perform their duties. Furthermore, the technical infrastructure supporting the online community should be designed to facilitate moderation. This includes features such as user profiles, content tagging, and search capabilities. These features can help moderators quickly identify and address inappropriate content. Consider the technical aspects of implementing different moderation strategies. For example, if a community chooses to implement a flagging system, the system should be designed to handle a large volume of flags efficiently. The system should also prioritize flags based on severity and urgency. If a community chooses to implement a shadow banning system, the system should be designed to prevent the shadow ban user from realizing that they have been banned. This can help prevent the user from creating new accounts to circumvent the ban. If a community chooses to implement a karma system, the system should be designed to prevent users from manipulating the karma system to artificially inflate their own karma or deflate the karma of others. If a community chooses to implement a reporting system, the system should be designed to protect the privacy of the reporter. The reporter's identity should not be revealed to the reported user. Maintaining a respectful and inclusive online community is an ongoing effort that requires a commitment from both moderators and users. By establishing clear guidelines, enforcing the rules consistently, and fostering a culture of empathy and understanding, it is possible to create an online environment where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued. Let's delve into more technical aspects of ensuring a respectful online community. One key element is content filtering. This involves using algorithms and natural language processing to automatically detect and remove or flag inappropriate content. These systems can be trained to identify hate speech, harassment, and other forms of toxic behavior. However, content filtering is not perfect, and human moderators are still needed to review flagged content and make final decisions. Another important aspect is user authentication and identity management. This involves verifying the identity of users and preventing the creation of fake accounts. Strong authentication mechanisms, such as two-factor authentication, can help deter malicious actors and prevent abuse. In addition, identity management systems can be used to track user behavior and identify patterns of abuse. Another consideration is the design of the user interface. The interface should be designed to promote positive interactions and discourage negative behavior. For example, the interface can be designed to make it easy for users to report inappropriate content and block abusive users. The interface can also be designed to highlight positive contributions and reward users for good behavior. In addition, the technical infrastructure should be designed to be resilient to attacks. This includes protecting against denial of service attacks, hacking attempts, and other forms of cybercrime. Robust security measures, such as firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and regular security audits, are essential to protect the online community from malicious actors. Another technical consideration is data privacy. It is important to protect the privacy of users and comply with all applicable data privacy laws. This includes implementing strong data encryption, limiting the collection of personal information, and providing users with control over their own data. In addition, it is important to be transparent about data privacy practices and to provide users with clear and concise privacy policies. Another important aspect is accessibility. The online community should be accessible to all users, including those with disabilities. This includes following accessibility guidelines such as the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines and providing assistive technologies such as screen readers and keyboard navigation. In addition, it is important to provide alternative formats for content such as audio and video transcripts. Another consideration is scalability. The online community should be able to handle a large number of users and a high volume of traffic. This requires a robust and scalable infrastructure, including servers, databases, and network connections. In addition, it is important to optimize the performance of the online community to ensure a smooth and responsive user experience. Another important aspect is monitoring and analytics. It is important to monitor the online community for signs of abuse and to analyze user behavior to identify trends and patterns. This can be done using a variety of tools such as sentiment analysis, network analysis, and machine learning. The data collected can be used to improve the effectiveness of moderation efforts and to prevent future incidents of abuse. Another consideration is incident response. It is important to have a plan in place for responding to incidents of abuse. This plan should outline the steps to be taken to investigate the incident, remove the offending content, and ban the abusive user. The plan should also include procedures for notifying law enforcement, if necessary. Another important aspect is community education. It is important to educate users about the community guidelines and the consequences of violating those guidelines. This can be done through a variety of channels, such as online tutorials, webinars, and social media. In addition, it is important to provide users with resources for reporting abuse and getting help if they are being harassed. Another consideration is legal compliance. It is important to comply with all applicable laws and regulations such as copyright laws, defamation laws, and privacy laws. This requires consulting with legal counsel and staying up to date on the latest legal developments. Another important aspect is ethical considerations. It is important to consider the ethical implications of all moderation decisions. This includes balancing the need to protect the community from abuse with the need to respect freedom of speech and privacy. It also includes being transparent about moderation practices and providing users with a fair and impartial process for appealing moderation decisions. In conclusion, maintaining a respectful and inclusive online community requires a multifaceted approach that combines technical measures, human moderation, and community education. By implementing these measures, it is possible to create an online environment where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued. Consider the role of artificial intelligence in moderation. AI can automate some tasks, like identifying hate speech, but human oversight is crucial. AI can be biased and may misinterpret context, leading to unfair or inaccurate moderation decisions. Therefore, AI should be used as a tool to assist human moderators, not to replace them entirely. The ethical considerations surrounding AI in moderation are significant. Transparency is paramount. Users should be aware of when AI is being used to moderate content and how it works. This builds trust and allows users to understand why certain decisions are made. Accountability is also key. There should be a clear process for appealing AI-driven moderation decisions and for addressing any biases in the AI system. Fairness is essential. The AI system should be designed to treat all users equally, regardless of their background or beliefs. This requires careful attention to the data used to train the AI system and to the algorithms used to make moderation decisions. In addition to these ethical considerations, there are also technical challenges associated with using AI in moderation. One challenge is the need for large amounts of data to train the AI system. This data must be carefully curated to ensure that it is accurate and representative of the online community. Another challenge is the need for continuous monitoring and improvement of the AI system. The AI system must be constantly updated to reflect changes in language and culture and to address any biases that may emerge. Despite these challenges, AI has the potential to play a significant role in moderation. By automating some tasks and providing insights into user behavior, AI can help human moderators to be more efficient and effective. However, it is important to use AI responsibly and ethically and to ensure that human oversight is always maintained. To further improve online communities, consider proactive measures. This includes educational programs that teach users about online etiquette, responsible communication, and the impact of their words. Such programs can foster a culture of empathy and understanding, reducing the likelihood of conflicts and promoting respectful interactions. Another proactive approach is to create opportunities for users to connect and build relationships. This can be done through online forums, group chats, or virtual events. By fostering a sense of community, these activities can encourage users to treat each other with respect and to work together to create a positive online environment. Another important consideration is the role of leadership. Community leaders should set a positive example and actively promote respectful communication. They should also be willing to address inappropriate behavior and to enforce community guidelines. By demonstrating a commitment to creating a safe and inclusive online environment, leaders can inspire others to follow suit. Maintaining a respectful and inclusive online community is an ongoing process that requires a commitment from all stakeholders. By combining technical measures, human moderation, community education, and proactive initiatives, it is possible to create an online environment where everyone feels safe, respected, and valued. And remember, the goal is not to eliminate all disagreements or conflicts, but to create a space where people can engage in constructive dialogue and learn from each other, even when they hold different viewpoints. The following steps can be taken to enforce the guidelines effectively. 1. Provide clear and accessible reporting mechanisms. 2. Promptly investigate and address reported violations. 3. Consistently apply sanctions for violations. 4. Educate users about the guidelines and the consequences of violating them. 5. Solicit feedback from the community on the effectiveness of the guidelines and enforcement procedures. Sanctions for violating community guidelines may include warnings, temporary suspensions, permanent bans, and removal of content. The severity of the sanction should be proportional to the severity of the violation. Users who are sanctioned should be given an opportunity to appeal the decision. Consider also the use of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. These mechanisms can help resolve conflicts peacefully and constructively. Examples of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms include mediation, arbitration, and restorative justice. Mediation involves a neutral third party who helps the parties in conflict to reach a mutually agreeable solution. Arbitration involves a neutral third party who makes a binding decision on the conflict. Restorative justice involves bringing together the parties in conflict to discuss the harm that has been caused and to develop a plan for repairing the harm. When choosing an alternative dispute resolution mechanism, it is important to consider the nature of the conflict and the needs of the parties involved. The goal is to find a mechanism that is fair, efficient, and effective. Remember that building a respectful and inclusive online community is an ongoing process, not a one-time event. It requires constant effort, attention, and adaptation. But the rewards are well worth the effort. A respectful and inclusive online community can be a valuable resource for learning, connection, and support. It can also be a powerful force for positive change in the world. Finally, never underestimate the power of positive reinforcement. Recognize and reward users who contribute positively to the community. This can be done through badges, awards, or public acknowledgements. By highlighting positive contributions, you can encourage others to follow suit and create a more positive online environment.